Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is February 15th, 2023. This is live stream 888. Yes, 8s are wild tonight. If you are not overly familiar with this show, let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And then we will normally take a look at a tabletop game. And tonight, we are actually going to dive on into the latest release coming from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons & Dragons. Yes, that's right. We are going to be taking a peek at Keys from the Golden Vault, a baker's dozen of heist adventures for levels 1 to 11, I think I seem to recall. Plus, stay tuned, because I will tell you how you can get into the running to win my copy of the alternate art edition. And this cover is actually pretty cool. It has a bit of a 3D look to it when it's laying down. It's actually pretty nice. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that as an alternate cover. And then when I was just sitting there and I'm looking at it at an angle, I was like, oh, hey, that kind of looks cool. So that is what we are going to be doing tonight. So also have to mention, if you're not familiar with the stream, we tackled the tabletop gaming news first. So if you're tuning in to check out D&D Keys from the Golden Vault, be patient. It's probably going to be about 35, maybe 40 minutes tops before we dive on in. So if you're watching live, kick your feet up, relax, take it easy. We've got some cool tabletop gaming news to discuss tonight before we jump on into that first look. But of course, should mention, if you're watching this 30 minutes or more after the show ends, there will be show notes. So if you are impatient and you just got to get to that first look, you'll be able to jump ahead. So the show notes will contain the timestamps, and depending on the device you happen to be watching this on, those timestamps might be right there in the timeline in front of you. All depends on what you're using. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. One of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, and you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, maybe there's something about Keys from the Golden Vault that you want to get a closer peek at, let me know. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Stray Kismet. Veteran Grabelox and Roger Prudhomme are with us. The Happy Wargamer has popped in hoping it was going to be a War Game Wednesday. Unfortunately, it is not, but we are probably one of the first outlets actually peeking at the new D&D book, so there's that. Flaming Heron is with us. He's one of our chat moderators. Welcome from Australia. He's got some shrimp on the Barbie, I'm sure. Or maybe he's beating up Paul Hogan. I don't know. Probably more beating up on Paul Hogan. Liquid Nebula is with us, as is Shaz, Kevin R. Smith, and Kathy Evans is rounding out the current crop of chatters. So, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me this evening. Let's jump on into the news, because I know a lot of people are going to be chomping at the bit to check out the new D&D book. So the less time we waste, the better, right? So I'll try not to babble on like I usually do. As Coco B has popped into chat too. Good to see you. Arriving in the second quarter of this year from Wonderbow Games is Hunters of the Lost Creatures. And I've got the dope. Collect the lost creatures and build the weirdest wildlife park. Will you choose the right hunter at the right time? Cards, fun, and puns. Hunters of the Lost Creatures is a fast-paced, people-friendly card game that you can win against your buddies or lose against your 6-year-old kid. But winning or losing only depends on your decisions, not on dice or drawing luck. Join the ultimate battle between strategy and haphazardness. But keep an eye on the interests of your competitors and beware of trolls, thieves, and tornadoes. Not tornadoes, but tornadoes. And why did this suddenly pop up? Man, I'm telling you, OBS Studio is just killing me. It is killing me lately. Let's take a quick peek, because that is our next news piece coming up. I tell you, unfortunately, I did not delete and reinstall OBS Studio. Sorry, gang. Anyway, so yes, so now you got a hint of what our next story is. I don't know why that was popping up either. Basic rules are simple. Secretly choose a hunter for a designated hunting area, sea, air, forest, or plains. He or she will catch a creature for your awesome wildlife park. You get the creature unless another player has sent a hunter to the same hunting area. The shy creatures will hide if more than one hunter is in their area, so think ahead of your opponents. Will they go for the most worthy creature? Will they try to block the creature you desperately need for a combo? Or will they place an annoying troll or thief in your park? Hunters of the Lost Creatures is for 2 to 5 players, ages 5 and up, plays in around 25 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $24 when it arrives this spring. This looks fun. This looks like a fun little family card game. I like the artwork, and the animals all have kind of odd, silly names. So I thought I'd share this with you. I thought it looked pretty cool. So, especially for those of you out there who have small kids. Raven Glen Homestead is with us in chat. And Flaming Heron is saying the stream does not want to play ball. Now, I'm taking a peek here. Looks like no issues on our end here. You never know. Could be YouTube acting up. We see that happen from time to time. So Coco B says, shrimp on the bobby. I'm having maple syrup on a moose. Yes, delicious. And illegal, no doubt. The 5e post-apocalyptic setting, Apocalypse, has launched on Kickstarter for Two Little Mice and Acheron Games. Here's the scoop. Apocalypse is the ultimate role-playing game about the end of the world, the fatal war between angels and demons, and the immense battlefield that extends between the throne of the Lord and the abyss, the boundless plain of Armageddon. Many have tried to transform apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic worlds into game material, in which the last survivors of endangered humanity face the dead who return from the graves, angels and devils who walk the earth, and the hosts of the four horsemen. We will not give you a substitute or a rewrite. We will take you to the heart of the original Armageddon, to the center of the true apocalypse, that of the Book of Revelation of St. John. Apocalypse provides the innovative mark dice mechanic, which allows characters to access supernatural powers with never-before-seen effects. The Plane of Armageddon, an entire dynamic sandbox inspired by the Book of Revelation, ravaged by momentous calamities and plagued by supernatural ills. New rules for character creation and for the marks inflicted by otherworldly powers. Rules about apocalyptic terrains and the planetary-level apocalyptical effects of the seven seals, like the resurrection of the flesh. There are over five new archetypes. I think some are going to be stretch goals, designed to be fully compatible with the existing 5th edition rule set and any other settings. Over 50 new monsters, fully compatible with any 5e setting. Over 30 apocalyptic relics, weapons, artifacts, rings, armors, wands, staffs, and wondrous items. Do want to point out this Kickstarter funded earlier today. It launched earlier today. You can reserve a copy of all 3 volumes for a pledge of approximately $150. These, of course, are hardcovers. Or you can grab just the PDFs for a pledge of approximately $32 through March 3rd. Expected delivery is February of next year. I would share the Kickstarter video, but unfortunately, the music will flag me for a copyright violation. So, won't be doing that. But if you are curious about Apocalypse, then you might want to check out my preview video, which went live early this morning. That's right. I took a peek at some of the materials for Apocalypse and shared my thoughts about it. And I'll tell you what, if you are familiar with Acheron and Two Little Mice, so they are the folks who are behind Broncolonia, which we've taken a look at, as well as Lex Arcana, which we've taken a look at, as well as Inferno, which I have not, which I believe is based on the Divine Comedy. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But if you're familiar with these creators, you know that, for one, the artwork is stunning. They have fantastic artwork. And this is very, very interesting. This is a very interesting setting. And it's kind of funny because I even mentioned it in the video. It's not really our world that this is taking place on. It doesn't feel like our world. But it almost feels like it's the world of Broncolonia, which is facing its final judgment. So I thought that was kind of funny. So by all means, check this out. It is pretty impressive. And there's a free quick start. I should point out, it's about 64 pages that you can check out, give you a better feel. And there's actually an introductory adventure and 4 pre-generated characters too. Aha. Oh, so Flaming Heron says, no, they're not having a problem with the stream. It's the slides. Yes, the images. Good old OBS Studio, for some reason, it's mixing up some of these images that I set up. It's only been the past few days. I'm going to have to take a look, see if there was some sort of a Windows update which has messed around with the settings, because that sometimes happens for some strange reason. Straight Kismet said they have checked out the Apocalypse video I did, and it was a good vid. Well, thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. Joseph Qualm is with us in chat. Welcome aboard, Joseph. Good to see you back once again. Let's move on to some more role-playing game news, because currently Modiphius Entertainment and Bundle of Holding have teamed up to bring you a money-saving offer on role-playing games which are built upon the 2D20 engine, and I've got the deets on the deal. Adventurer! This new Worlds of 2D20 bundle gathers PDFs of many tabletop role-playing games that use the, you guessed it, 2D20 system of rules from Modiphius Entertainment, including Dune, Dishonored, Fallout, Star Trek Adventures, Achtung Cthulhu, Infinity, and John Carter of Mars, all for an unbeatable bargain price. This offer promotes the new Modiphius 2D20 World Builders Community Content Program through Drive-Thru RPG. 2D20 World Builders lets you design and sell your own complete 2D20 based games, supplements, characters, and more. For just $14.95, you'll get all 3 complete rulebooks in the 2D20 Starter Collection, which has a retail value of $67. And these are DRM-free PDFs, which include Dishonored, the role-playing game, the Infinity RPG, and John Carter of Mars, as well as the free 2D20 system reference documents you'll want if you happen to join the World Builders program. If you pay more than the threshold price of $39.97, keep in mind that is the current threshold price. It may change. You'll level up and also get the entire 2D20 bonus collection with 8 more titles worth an additional $138, including the complete Dune Adventures in the Imperium core rulebook, the Achtung Cthulhu 2D20 Player's Guide and Game Master's Guide, the Star Trek Adventures core book, the Fallout starter set, the Dishonored Game Master Toolkit, the John Carter of Mars Phantoms Campaign Guide, and Infinity Adventures in the Human Sphere. You'll also get a one-use 30% discount code good through March 30th on purchases of any or all of the 6 qualifying print rulebooks, either at the Modiphius UK web store or the US web store. These savings run through February 27th, and 10% of each payment after gateway fees will be donated to the not-for-profit initiative co-founded by Modiphius Entertainment owner Chris Birch, Roll versus Evil. I have got to say, this is probably the best Modiphius Entertainment bundle I have ever seen. It's got all the big-name games, all their big-name role-playing games. Okay, granted, it doesn't have Homeworld. I don't know how well Homeworld is doing, to be honest. Although we just talked about that Kickstarter for the miniatures game from Modiphius Entertainment. But you get Star Trek Adventures, Dune, which is fantastic. Star Trek Adventures is great. Achtung Cthulhu, both the Player's Guide and the Game Master's Guide. So you have both of those. I have not reviewed those, although they are supposed to be on their way. So I think we are going to finally get a chance to take a peek at these. So, and then you get the Fallout starter set. I mean, this is rocking. This is a rocking deal. Really, really nicely done. And you figure just 2 of these would be well worth the price of admission for the all-in, I guess we'll say, pledge level. Tessie Trekkie is with us in chat, and Dante Viper Brandolini is hanging out with us, and Quantum Phase Dragon has arrived in chat. And no, Quantum Phase Dragon, you are not late. We always do the news first, and then we will be diving on into that first look at keys from the Golden Vault. Cubicle 7 Entertainment is currently in the midst of a Kickstarter to bring the dark fantasy setting Broken Weave to 5e. Here's what I know. Magic is broken and the gods are dead. From the award-winning team that brought you Doctors and Daleks, Adventures in Middle-earth, and Uncharted Journeys comes Broken Weave, a brand new post-apocalyptic tragic fantasy campaign setting for 5e. The weave unravels. The gods are dead, the lands are shattered, and the world has begun to forget what it once was. Time and distance have lost their meaning, and the knowledge of how things once were crumbles like ash. Those who remain struggle to survive in a shattered world overcome by decay, an entropic force which eats at our memories, reshapes the world, and twists people into nightmarish abominations. But all is not lost. Hope survives despite the odds. Community, love, and trust in one another can remake the world. Walking the old forgotten paths gives them permanence. Fractured artifacts from the time before spark memories of what once was, and communities gather to create a new way of life. Inspired by the likes of Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Colossus, Annihilation, and the Dark Tower series, Broken Weave is a tragic fantasy setting where hope and community are the only path to creating something new. Back now to become some of the first to explore this strange new world. There is a short Kickstarter video. It's a couple of minutes long. So by all means, let's kick back and give it a peek.
This is Fleet Command. The mothership is ready. Initiate launch sequence at your discretion. Homeworld Fleet Command is a fast-playing, rules-light game where you take control of massive fleets in epic tabletop sci-fi battles based on the award.
Magic is broken. The gods are dead. Their divine blood poisons the land. Time and distance have lost their meaning, and the knowledge of how things were crumbles like ash between our fingers. Those of us who remain inhabit a shattered world. Decay eats our memories. It twists our flesh, turning loved ones into monsters, and monsters into nightmares. But despite everything we have lost, hope remains, a fragile flame which holds back decay. We must walk the old paths and reconnect with our lost kin. We must search the ruins and uncover what we once were. We must build new communities and forge our future together. And when the nightmares come, to steal what little we have left, we must fight. Even if the odds are against us. Even if the gods have abandoned us. Even if the world wants us gone. We must never give up hope. Hope that this world is still worth saving. And hope that one day we can repair the broken weave.
The Kickstarter project for Broken Weave is approaching the 800% funding mark, and you can reserve a copy of the course setting book in hardcover for a pledge of approximately $59, or grab just the PDF for a pledge of approximately $29 through March 2nd. Expected delivery on the PDF is actually this May. Pretty fast turnaround there. Hardcover is to follow in November. And yes, this does look very, very interesting. When I interviewed Dominic McDowell at last Gen Con, we discussed this a little bit. And he had mentioned that even though it's a dark fantasy setting, it's not truly a grimdark setting because there is still hope. It's not that the player characters are heroes that regardless what they accomplish, the end will still take place. So I was like, oh, cool. Because I've said before, I'm not necessarily a big fan of grim, dark settings. Just not my bag of tricks normally. And yes, Flaming Huron says the gremlins really aren't giving me a break. It's got to be something that OBS Studio is not saving things when I close it, because I know for a fact that I had the correct video set up because I had to resize it. So I resized it and then shut down OBS Studio earlier. And all of a sudden it's like, it's the wrong video again. It's the video that had been in there before. So I don't know. Usually it just saves everything when you close it, which is actually kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. That it just automatically saves things. It doesn't ask you to save. So Raven Glenn Homestead says, Homeworld Tabletop. Got to find that game. Hopefully Barnes & Noble has it. Well, we've got the role-playing game is out. I don't know if the physical book is out just yet. And the miniatures you just saw, that's a Kickstarter that's currently going on. All right, my final news piece. We've got a lot of 5e related stuff today, and it's just a coincidence. It really is. Now available digitally for 5e is Siren's Magnificent Walking Marketplace from Unlimited Realms Ltd. Yes, that is the company's name. I thought it was kind of funny because it's like Unlimited Realms Ltd. Well, LTD means limited, so it's Unlimited Realms Limited. Regardless, here's the skinny. Come one, come all to my magnificent walking marketplace. Climb aboard to explore this mobile biomechanical creation of magic and mystery as it meanders from world to world in search of all new treasures and wonders untold. Learn more about the 200 plus magic items, 4 new races, 4 new subclasses, and artwork from over 25 acclaimed fantasy artists, and a plethora of tome pages offering terrific opportunities for your 5e adventures. The shopping experience role-playing games can be challenging for any seasoned GM. Without warning, your players may initiate an unexpected shopping session, and as a result, you're expected to juggle town information, local lore, shop depictions, merchant creations, item designs with pricing and lore hints, while still engaged in entertaining roleplay. The Walking Marketplace is a place of hustle and bustle, an exciting oddity in a magical world. Reaching the majestic heights of a tall castle, the marketplace is an amalgamation of log buildings, stone towers, brass pipes, metal chimneys, and luscious vegetation. Love me some luscious vegetation that sprouts from the trunk of an enormous tree. This beautiful monstrosity is kept aloft by 4 crab-like mechanical legs of bronze and copper. The true beauty of the Walking Marketplace is that it can be inserted into the world of your pre-existing campaign instantly and easily, so no more campaign restarts. In addition, the marketplace is designed to be fully customizable according to the requirements of the game master. Wish to introduce your own shopkeeper? Have Siren grow a new store. Want your players to have access to a shop in a remote location? Have the Walking Marketplace show up. The flexibility and multifunctional elements of the Walking Marketplace will be both an invaluable narrative tool for any GM and a memorable set piece for players of all ages. While the hardcover edition is still on the horizon, the 296-page PDF is available now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $30. And I must admit, this looks very, very cool. Gotta like it. Gotta like it. I guess this had a very successful Kickstarter, and the PDF is now available over on DriveThruRPG. I gotta be honest, I don't know what the hardcover is going to run. So I would probably take a peek over at the Unlimited Realms website to, kind of follow the website, because I don't have the impression that it's going to be like a print on demand from DriveThruRPG, because if it was going to be, it would be. Usually the print on demand is pretty fast. Not the actual printing, but the actual availability of a print-on-demand offering from DriveThruRPG. So there you have it. All right, that is the news for tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild or Storyteller's Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find the Gaming Gang to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, then by all means, please stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang and make a small donation. And thankfully, we have quite a few people out there who do utilize the banner ads and or visit paypal.me. So thank you all very, very much. Because if you're not overly familiar with the Gaming Gang, you should know we don't do Patreon. We don't do annual Kickstarters or anything like that to survive. So a big portion of keeping the website around is both paypal.me as well as the One Bookshelf sites. So very, very cool. All righty. So usually at this point in time, I would kind of talk about things that are going on in the hobby world and so forth. But I know we've got people watching live who are anxiously awaiting the first look at keys from the Golden Vault from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons & Dragons. So we are going to dive on into that right after a brief intermission.
It's time to stretch and fetch. See what's cooking at our refreshment counter. You'll find your favorite foods and beverages, plus many new goodies to tempt your appetite and add to your evening's pleasure. Everything's the finest quality. So treat yourself now.
Schmidt, one beautiful beer. Schmidt is a dry beer, a mellow beer, a hearty beer, blended into one beer, a light, bright, fun beer. Schmidt, one beautiful beer.
Beautiful.
One beautiful beer.
Coffee break? Want a cup of Wilkins? Oh, thank you. Now all our workers drink Wilkins.
Voice control, Kennedy Airport. The tower speaks and tells you what to do.
TWA Flight 7, clear to land.
Remco's voice-controlled Kennedy Airport is just like a real airport. You get over 16 different orders from the tower's electro-recorder that you hear through your earphones. Listen.
Ground control clears United 117.
Kids, for real excitement and adventure, take off with Remco's voice-controlled Kennedy Airport.
Last call for refreshments, folks. Go right this second to get something good to eat and drink to enjoy now or during the rest of the show. The finest quality ingredients are in the fixins of the delicious foods you'll find waiting to tempt your appetite at the snack bar. Extra special good hamburgers, wonderful donuts, ice-cold thirst-quenching drinks. Pizza generously sliced, steaming hot, fresh coffee, ice cream in many flavors.
Yes. I have to say, in that beer commercial, few things that were like very strange. For one, that wife was far too attractive for that husband. And it'd be like, no way would she be sitting there. Well, actually, I guess it was a pretty good idea with that kind of zip line there, because then she didn't have to like walk out there with beer. I had to laugh. It starts pouring rain, which is kind of hard to tell in that commercial. And he's all worried about covering, protecting his beer, but he's got a TV sitting out there. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, all right, Schleprock. You take care of that beer, which you notice the foam changed between cuts. I saw that as well. So, and yes, why, Wonkins, why? Kevin said, did Wonkins just commit suicide? Nuh-uh, he was pushed. Of course, Wilkins is going to play it off like he threw himself off the building. But we saw what happened. We're witnesses. So there you go. John Muscola is with us. Says Wonkins didn't commit suicide. He was pushed. That's right. Kevin says, I didn't see the push. Must have been really subtle. And then with that Kennedy Airport commercial, all we need is a little Dean Martin as the pilot, right? Little Jacqueline Bisset as the flight attendant. That is a classic. Burt Lancaster, he's the guy in charge of the Kennedy Airport there. All righty. So tonight I am going to dive on in and take a first look at Dungeons & Dragons, Keys from the Golden Vault from Wizards of the Coast. This 208-page hardcover arrives in North America on February 21st. The European release is going to follow on March 24th. Carries an MSRP of $49.95. Geek Nerd Game is with us in chat. Welcome aboard. Thanks for hanging out. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Keys from the Golden Vault. So a few things I do want to mention before I dive on in. Once again, stay tuned. I am going to tell you how you can score my copy of the alternate art edition of Keys from the Golden Vault. So stay tuned. I'll make it easy, like usual, for you to get into the running. So the fine folks over at Wizards of the Coast did send this along for review, but always keep in mind, neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. Also, there are adventures within. So if you are a player and you're hoping your dungeon master is going to pick up Keys from the Golden Vault and run some of these adventures, you might want to tune out. But you might want to tell your dungeon master to take a peek, find out a little bit more about this book. Stray Kismet says, hey, Jeff, did I ever tell you how swell you are? What are you saying? My head is swollen? What? I know I've put on some weight, but I mean, come on. Anyway, it's winter. I always do. If you've been watching this show for years, you know that, I put on about 10 pounds during the winter, damn it. Anyway, thank you, Stray Kismet. You're swell, too. All right. Anyway, as I mentioned, if you're a player, you might want to tune out. But if you're a dungeon master, hang out or tell your dungeon master to check this video out. So let's take a look at the back real quick. Plan your next heist. A secretive organization called the Golden Vault seeks operatives to perpetrate dangerous heists. Adventurers could also complete the heists without the Golden Vault as their patron. These missions require careful planning and flawless execution. Well, that leaves my gang out. The rewards are well worth the risk. Keys from the Golden Vault is a collection of 13 short, standalone Dungeons & Dragons adventures designed for characters of levels 1 to 11. These adventures can be played in any setting, and you can run them as one-shot game sessions or link them together into a campaign. This book also includes in-world maps to help players plan their heists. And of course, you do need the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, and the Dungeon Master's Guide. So we are not going to look at each and every page here, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in Keys from the Golden Vault. So what I think we'll try to do is we will try to touch on each adventure, and we'll take a look at what the background for that adventure is. So as far as writers and artists, quite a lot of them. If I started reading through all of those, we'd be here for about 5 minutes, and I would butcher a good, I don't know, half of their names. Flaming Heron says, Stray Kismet, were you trying to butter Jeff up? Of course he was. Of course. Oh, I shouldn't say he, because I don't know for sure. Of course they were. What do you think? This is my first rodeo? Come on. Right, so we've got a collection of heists. Keys from the Golden Vault presents 13 Dungeons & Dragons adventures that feature heists. In each adventure, the characters receive a mission, plan the job, execute their plan, and try to escape the scene. You can run each heist as a standalone adventure or as part of a larger campaign. See, a campaign of heists later in this introduction. Each adventure can be adapted to take place in any campaign setting you wish. So I'm kind of curious, do we have any new player options or anything like that? Aha, discussion of the MacGuffin. If you're not familiar with the term MacGuffin, it is something that Alfred Hitchcock was a huge proponent of. That's why if you watch an Alfred Hitchcock movie, about 9 times out of 10, there's some sort of a focus that turns out to mean absolutely nothing. So as an example, if you've ever seen Psycho, and Janet Leigh in the beginning of the film, she's absconded with company funds, and you think, oh, okay, so that's what this is going to be about. It's like, nope, that's a MacGuffin. Okay, so guess not. I guess we're not getting any new real options or anything. It's talking about some of our motivations for each of the adventures. Joseph points out, please don't confuse it with the egg MacGuffin. So we have the first adventure is for first level characters, the Merkmeyer Malevolence. Unbeknownst to anyone but a disgraced academic, the Varkin Bluff Museum of Natural History is in grave danger. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. There we go. Archaeologists at a nearby dig site recently unearthed a curiosity, the Merkmeyer Stone. This object is actually an eldritch creature's egg, and it's about to hatch. Characters must infiltrate the museum, steal the egg, and return it to Dr. Cassie Donnell to be neutralized before it releases in eldritch horror. This adventure is a little similar to a Call of Cthulhu adventure that I recall. Not too far back. It's actually a pretty good adventure with if I remember correctly, I think it's a hunting horror that's in it. So Tessie Trekkie says, Robert MacGuffin of the Clan MacGuffin. There can be only one MacGuffin. Only one. All right. So that is our adventure here. And then here is our, no doubt this is the player map. Yep, it even says player's map to the museum. That's cool. Ah, and then we have the real map. Oh, that's nice. So where is our next adventure? Here we go. The Stygian Gambit. Why does that artwork look like that cheapo digitized art? That's not very good. It's like not used to seeing that in a D&D book. Maybe it just looks like it. But it does kind of look like that cheapo just it's like 5 years old, the program. Okay. So we got the Stygian Gambit at the Afterlife Casino, a 3-dragon anti-tournament called the Grand Minoris Invitational. I almost said international. Awards one winner with a sizable purse and a golden Inaries statuette. Former gambler with a score to settle hires the characters to steal the statuette, as well as gold from the casino's vault. Hey, this is Ocean's 11. Joseph said it looks like Elric covers from the DAW printings. Yeah, that could be. Could be. Geek Nerd Game says, video game art? EQ1 graphics? So, the characters must case the casino, steal what they came for, and escape. All right. Just taking a peek here. So we have sections about planning the heist. And then we've got the locale. There's our casino map. So each of these adventures looks to be about 7-8 pages. I'll count them up. You figure we've got 13, and this hardcover is 208 pages. And my God, it's a decapitated head! Says a friendly spirit appears as a disembodied head, warning heroes about the dangers that await them in Delphi Mansion. So this is Reach for the Stars. This is for 3rd level characters. Marcos Delphi's curiosity has taken a tragic turn. A far realm entity called Krokulmar has taken control of Marcos, compelling him to commit evil acts. As Krokulmar's command, or I should say at Krokulmar's command, Marcos is using a book called the Celestial Codex to bring part of Krokulmar into the world. Do we need to keep repeating this guy's name? The book's rightful owner hired the adventurers to retrieve the Celestial Codex and prevent Marcos from using it, but these adventurers fall prey to the horrors of Delphi Mansion. A new group of adventurers, the player characters, must now complete the task. Oh, yeah, sure. Now you turn to the player characters. Yeah, after everything's gone sideways, now you decide to bring the player characters in. Marcos is close to accomplishing Krokulmar's goal. Acquiring the Celestial Codex is the primary goal of this adventure, but the characters also have a chance to free Marcos from the Far Realm entity's control. Body horror is a recurring theme in this adventure. Before running it, discuss with your players their level of comfort with these elements. And I can guarantee it's not going to be like really gruesome body horror. So there's some discussion of some video games from back in the day. EverQuest. Stray Kismet's talking about they were an Ultima Online player. I tried that out one time. So here's the Delphi Mansion. One thing I have to admit, I almost always like the maps, all the cartography that we find in 5e adventures. Sometimes the adventures themselves, not so great. I'm curious about this. I do have the D&D Beyond digital edition, which I have had since, what was it, the 7th? I think it was the 7th that they gave reviewers a copy, which if you had pre-ordered this book, you also had access to. I have not read through it. I have not peeked at it. So this is legitimately a first look. This is all brand new to me, just as it is to most of you out there watching this as well. So this felt kind of rushed. I'll be very honest. This was only announced a couple of months back and it's out. So I'm a little curious. And of course, we still have all that fallout from the open game license fiasco. So we'll see how this turns out, if this is going to be a DOA or not. Prisoner 13, so this is for 4th level characters. On the world of Toril, in the frozen reaches north of the Sword Coast, lies an impenetrable fortress built to house the region's most dangerous criminals. One of this prison's earliest inmates, a dwarf known as Prisoner 13. I am number 3. You are number 4. I don't know. I forget what the numbers were for the prisoner. The Patrick McGuffin was in that, if I remember correctly. So it says one of the prison's earliest inmates, a dwarf known as Prisoner 13, spends her days in seeming quiet and solitude while secretly pulling the strings of a spy network that spans much of the continent. She holds the key to a treasure she stole from a dwarf clan, the MacGuffin clan, I believe. So the prisoner was number 6. Thank you. Now I remember. Thank you, Roger and Veteran. Much appreciated. Coco B says their level of body horror comfort is Cronenberg. That's pretty high. Okay, so in this heist, the characters must infiltrate the prison, retrieve the key from Prisoner 13, found in a tattoo on her hand, and return the key to Varen Axebreaker, the dwarf who hired them. It's pretty cool artwork here. I like this. It's pretty nice. I know this was some preview art they had shared. Pretty cool. So Geek Nerd Games said Prisoner 13 is a pretty good adventure, but because of open game license, this was doomed. We'll see. I honestly think sales for this will not be great. And of course, it won't have anything to do with the content. But I do think there are a good number of people out there who are saying, oh, I'm done with the Wizards of the Coast, that will be back. So there is that. Of course, the only reason why I'm looking at this is because Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro walked back the nonsense with the open game license. Otherwise, I was going to inform the PR company that Wizards of the Coast uses that I was out. So, let's see, do we have a map here? Oh, there's our tattoo key. Prisoner 13. Next up, Tockworth's Clockworks. Say that 5 times fast. This is a 5th level adventure. The clockwork automatons that guard the Svinflin, I never can pronounce those deep gnomes, town of Little Lockford have attacked the very residents they were meant to keep safe. Damn you, clockwork automatons! Forcing a town-wide evacuation. At the heart of the matter is security overseer Tixie Tockworth, a tinkerer who is turned malicious. In this adventure, the characters must enter Little Lockford, recover a security key, and use it to activate a fail-safe device that shuts off the automatons. It's more cool artwork. I like that. Yeah, and there's Tixie Talkworth right there. There you go. Got some of the automatons, animated suits of armor. And it looks like we have some new stat blocks as well. So that's cool. We get some new creatures in that. And then we have Masterpiece Imbroglio, a group of scholars and sages known as the Conoscenti Esoterica recently purchased a painting of Constantore, a famous courtier rumored to once have been the most beautiful man alive. Well, what did People magazine have to say about that? The portrait supposedly has occult properties, but before the sages could study it, the painting was stolen by the Agile Hand, a thieves' guild. In this adventure, the characters must retrieve the portrait of Constantore from the Agile Hand's guild house and return it to Erisa Caramore, a member of the Esoterica. Aha. So Flaming Heron says, for sure the outrage will be a thing, but a lot of people will still get it no matter what others think. So Roger says, even though a lot of people have a grudge against Wizards of the Coast right now, they're picking this up. They even ordered the Beetle and Grimm's box. Wow. Oh, so it's the first one they make without the book inside. So it's a lot cheaper. Well, that's cool. Flaming Heron says, I really think it won't do as well as it might have post open game license debacle. Yeah, I agree. And plus, because it's an adventure books, even when nobody has any issues, well, there's always people with issues with Wizards of the Coast for whatever reason. But adventure books normally do not sell as well as like player-facing books. So normally with fantasy role-playing games, and when I say fantasy role-playing games, I also mean, say, Pathfinder, Cobalt Press releases, things like that. Usually the big sellers are player option books or books that have a lot of player options, and bestiaries. Bestiaries do well, but it's usually the player facing. And one of the reasons is because you could have multiple players picking up copies of the same book, while an adventure book, it's just the game master picking it up. Unless, you've got players who are assholes and they go pick up the book so they know the adventures. Which I have heard happens. Thankfully, it's never happened to me. So Roger says they've got so many players in their group who play rogues or roguish style characters all the time. It's going to be a very packed and crowded campaign. Right, so here's the player map of the guild house. Oh, there's our painting of the, some of these pages are a little stuck. There we go. There's our painting of the most beautiful man, or one of the most beautiful men to ever live. Yes, in the Forgotten Realms, yes. Looks rather Napoleonic. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, so next up, we've got an adventure for 6-level characters. Axe from the Grave. Body spray from the grave? Famed bard Froderick Dartwild is dead, and his beautiful mandolin called Golden Axe has been stolen from his grave. The horror. Even worse, Froderick has risen as a zombie, terrifying the hamlet of Toad Hop. Jeez. Hey, so where do you guys live? Toad Hop. In this heist, the characters must track down Golden Axe from the music school owner who stole it and return it to Froderick so the bard can rest peacefully in death once again. All right. And here is the Skaldrang Conservatory. That's where they have to break in. Well, there's the mandolin. And we have the Scythian Skaldrang. It's a NPC, it looks like. Then we have Vidorant's Vault. So this is for 7th level characters. Over the years, the notorious elf thief Nixalana Vidorant has stolen many famed prizes and stored them in her vault. Her former partner believes one of these trophies, a ruby diadem, rightly belongs to him. He hires the characters to infiltrate Vidorant's vault, bypass its security features, and steal the diadem. In a twist, the characters come face to face with Vidorant, and she offers them a deal that's hard to refuse. So Stray Kismet said they had their players buy them a setting for Christmas, so they got the hint. So here's our player map. It's kind of funny little stick figures. Another stick figure of the patrol. That's kind of funny. All right, so here is our other thief. I have to admit, when I run games that are, pre-written, or I should say not pre-written, written adventures, published adventures, I don't screw around. If NPC's got a name that I can't pronounce or just does not roll off the tongue well, they get a new name. All right. Then we have Shard of the Accursed. All right, so this is digital art. I can tell. That just looks awful. That is just, man. Yeah, that stands out like a sore thumb. You probably can't tell on screen, but it is okay. So it's not as bad as some of that really cheap 3D artwork is, but it is not good. I'll tell you that much. And it really looks weird in a D&D book because we don't see that in D&D books. This is the first time I can think of that I've seen this in a Wizards of the Coast book. So John Muscola says, it's so pasty. Well, got to get out in the sun there, buddy. A mysterious shard made of obsidian places a curse on everyone who bears it. When the shard comes into the character's possession, they must break its curse by returning the shard to the ancient tomb it came from. But a dangerous crime syndicate controls the tomb and its riches, and the criminals won't take kindly to the character's intrusion. This adventure isn't a typical heist. Rather, it's a reverse heist. Instead of retrieving a valuable item, the characters are tasked with returning one to its proper place. The Accursed Shard. So here's our player's map. So this looks a little more professional from these thieves as opposed to little stick figures. So there's the tomb. And then here's the actual GM, I should say, Dungeon Master's map. That's pretty nice. All right. Then we've got Heart of Ashes. This is for 8th level characters. Galacine is under a terrible curse. An evil spellcaster has enacted a ritual to siphon life from the city's people and reduce the city itself to ash. Powering the ritual is the heart of Galacine's vanquished leader, King Yeheros Astolko. Not even close. In this adventure, the characters must infiltrate Castle Sinix and recover the king's heart to end the ritual, thereby saving Galacine. Galacine? I don't know. All right. Ashen creatures. Says many of the creatures that haunt Galacine and guard Castle Sinise are ashen effigies of their former selves. These ashen creatures use their normal statistics, except they are lawful evil elementals that have immunity to fire damage. Well, yeah, because they're ash. They're all burned out. Nothing left to burn. When an ashen creature drops to 0 hit points, it is reduced, you guessed it, to a pile of ash. And any equipment it was wearing or carrying falls to the ground. Right, so I wanted to get an idea of the page count to each of these adventures. 12? Let's say, that's a guess. So here's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Boom. Yeah, so they're probably between 12 and 15. So decent length, I have to say. So that is Heart of Ashes. That was the 8th level adventure. Then we've got Affair on the Concordant Express. So this is an adventure for 9th level characters. Wanted for crimes across the multiverse, an outlaw known as the Stranger, thank goodness I can pronounce that, is currently a prisoner aboard the Concordant Express, an interplanar train destined for Mechanus, where the outlaw is set to stand trial. In this heist, the characters must obtain a list of names the stranger has committed to memory. The names in question are the true names of several powerful demons, devils, and Yogaloths. So this is for 9th level characters. I like how each of the adventures has, it appears that we've got multiple hooks. So it's not just, oh, well. So Flaming Heron says, I don't count pictures in a page count. Not all, the pages aren't all gameable material. I get it. I understand that. But we have very recently seen an adventure collection where the adventures were 4 pages long. They also had maps. They also had pictures. So here are the train cars. So we've got a Mind Flayer detective on board. I assume this is supposed to be some sort of a rift on Murder on the Orient Express. It's going to be my guess. Here's the Stranger. Looks like a cowpoke. Party at Palisade Hall. And the funny thing is, this looks like it's digital art, but it's not. A closer look, it is not. So this is an adventure for 10th level characters. Every year during the winter solstice, Zorhana Adelair holds a grand gala, in Palisade Hall, her palatial retreat in the Feywild. Characters are hired to infiltrate the gala and steal Zorhana's Shard Solitaire, a magical diamond with peculiar properties. As the evening unfolds, they learn that nothing is quite what it seems, which I would take a guess is probably something going on with many of these adventures. So here's our player's map. And then we have a gnome adventurer acquires the Shard Solitaire necklace and a key belonging to Palisade Hall's head of staff. So we are closing in on our final adventures. It seems like this was a bit longer for that adventure. Next, we have Fire and Darkness. This is for 11th level characters. For centuries, a powerful Ifriti named Raker sent his armies against numerous foes and burned countless cities to ash. Now the tyrant is found an artifact of unimaginable evil, the Book of Vile Darkness. In this heist, the heroes must infiltrate Brimstone Hold, the prison fortress where Rakir has locked away the Book of Vile Darkness, and escape with the Ifriti's prize. The character's contact is an Arcanoloth named Nebucath, Hold's duplicitous administrator, who secretly covets the book and plans to betray the heroes as soon as the group recovers it. All right. So here's our player map. Here's our actual maps. It's Grug Grug. That's what it says. It's Grug Grug. A ragdoll the size of a halfling. It has a goblin skull for a head. Jeez. So, Flaming Heron says, at the end of the day, it's what you do with the adventure that counts. Shorter adventure might offer more content than a longer one. Yep, I completely understand that. And a lot of times, page count is just, somebody sitting there with a bunch of filler. We see that with a lot of third-party role-playing game releases. Flaming Heron says that doll is the stuff of nightmares. So here's our Ifriti. And that, I believe, is going to be our final adventure here in Keys from the Golden Vault from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons and Dragons. So, let's swing on over to the other camera. I will have a review of Keys from the Golden Vault. Probably Sunday or Monday, since it will be going on sale on Tuesday. I always do my best to get my reviews out before the book goes out on sale. So I'm actually going to start diving into it tonight once I actually wrap up the show. So you may recall I've mentioned a couple of times during this video that you can get into the running to win my copy of the alternate art edition of Keys from the Golden Vault. And I'm going to make it pretty easy, very similar to most of the contests I will normally run. So it's going to be three things. A trio of things. First two are simple. Number one, please like the video. Now, can I tell if you like the video? No. But please like the video. And you need to be a subscriber to the channel. That I can tell. So I do want to mention, there was one time I was giving away the alternate art edition of a D&D release, because I always do. If there is one. If there is one, I always give it away. Anyway, so I selected the winner, and then I always double check to make sure that they're a subscriber. And yes, there is a way for me to sort through all nearly 10,000 subscribers to find somebody. And they weren't a subscriber. And I double checked and I did not find them. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to use my random number generator and get a different winner. So, got to be a subscriber to get into the running. Third thing, you have to leave a comment. And in the comments, you need to let me know what is your favorite heist movie and why. So, I'll get us started. I'll tell you my favorite heist movie. It's Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood and Telly Savalas. Donald Sutherland is excellent in it. He's oddball. And the weird thing about why it's my favorite heist movie is it was my grandfather on my mom's side, one of his favorite movies. And when videotape was just coming out, he had recorded Kelly's Heroes on, I think it was like WGN, and he would watch it a bunch, and I watched it a bunch with him as well. So it is a really good movie. Fleming Aaron says, great movie, Jeff. It is a really good movie, but it's my favorite heist movie because of the nostalgia it brings up. So my guest is with us in chat and says, Kelly's Heroes is a good pick. It's one of my favorites too. Yeah, like I said, it's a good movie. So there you have it. Pretty easy. All you got to do is please like the video, be a subscriber, and comment in the comment section, what is your favorite heist movie and why? And you don't have to leave a novella. No, a couple of sentences. It's all you really got to do. And you will be in the running, and I will reveal the winner of the alternate edition of keys from the Golden Vault in my review video. So I will let you know in the review video who is the winner. All right. So that is pretty much it for this time out. So I'm kind of surprised we got through fairly quickly. So I was like, oh man, I hope I don't like, because you know me, I tend to, talk, right? I'm like, oh, I'm sure there are going to be people who are tuning in who, they've never watched the stream before, and they're going to be like, geez, man, come on. I tuned in to see the book. Shut up already. So we actually dived into taking a look at the book at about the 32, 33-minute mark, I think. So not too bad. Not too bad, because I said it'd be like 35, maybe 40 minutes. So I'll be back to my chatty self on Tuesday, because remember, I am not going to be streaming on Monday. Monday is President's Day, and I actually remembered a Monday holiday for a change well in advance. So, as opposed to Friday rolls around, I'm like, oh, damn it, Monday's a holiday. I should have said, hey, it's a holiday. I'm taking the day off. But next week on Tuesday's show, I'm going to pick up where we left off with Cobalt Press, and I will be sharing my review of Tales from the Shadows for 5e D&D. So that'll be on Tuesday's show. And on Wednesday's show, I am going to dive on into Fear of the Unknown from, I believe it's fearoftheunknown.com. Take a look. Take a quick peek. Somebody had reached out and asked if I'd be interested in checking this out. And I said, sure. So hold on. Sixpence Games. There we go. So it's written by Thomas Elliott. And this is from Sixpence Games. And obviously enough, it is a horror RPG. I do believe it is powered by the Apocalypse, if I remember correctly. So we will be taking a look at that on Wednesday's show. This weekend, I should have a new episode of Let's Build an Open Source Fantasy Role-Playing Game. And if the latest Paizo releases show up, I'll probably shoot that video as well. So just another quick peek here at chat. Stephen Dukensky, taking a shot at that pronunciation, joined us in chat. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. So everybody out there, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a thumbs up. Remember, you can't get into the contest unless you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, by all means, please make sure to ding that bell, because not only will it let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Also let you know when I upload other original videos, such as my Why You Should Play Index Card Role-Playing Game. For those of you who watch live, thank you very much. I always appreciate you taking time out to join me and help keep me company. But also need to point out, if you took part in chat, an even bigger thank you, because not only do you keep me company, you're keeping each other company as well. But of course, I know a lot of people out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. I really do appreciate each and every one of you taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the channel. I really, really do appreciate it. So everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back on Tuesday. And here's hoping all of you out there get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.